संगी कुदास कुलाचारहीन कुलाचारहीन दृष्टि कुवाक्य प्रबंध सदा गतिस्त्वं मेका गतिस्त्वं मेका प्रजेशं पेशं महेशं सुरेशं दिनेशं निशीथेश्वरं वा कदाचित् न जानामि चान्यत् सदाहं शरण्ये गतिस्त्वं मेका भव गतिस्त्वं मेका भव विवादे विषादे प्रमादे प्रवासे जले चानदे पर्वते शत्रुमत् अरण्ये शरण्ये सदा मां प्रपाहि गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवामि गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवामि अनाथो दरिद्रो जरारोगयुक्तो महाक्षीण दीन सदा जाड्यवक्त्र विपत्तो प्रविष्ट प्रनष्ट सदा गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवामि गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवामि गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका. There's a book. Actually, there's a collection of articles by Sri Harishan Prakashji. The name of the book is Punyasmar. It's about Jiyama. So, in that book, he starts as to what is silence and how it's so important, and actually it's a Actually, it's a collection of some I guess paragraphs from Maharishi Raman. I'll read that for you. Silence is never ending speech. Vocal speech obstructs the other speech of silence. In silence, one is in intimate contact with surroundings. The silence of Dakshinamurti removed the doubts of four sages. Non-Vyakhya, truth expounded by silence. Silence is said to be exposition. Silence is so potent. Teaching is simple communication of knowledge. Teaching is simple communication of knowledge. It can really be done in silence only. What do you think of man who listens to a sermon for an hour and goes home without having been impressed by it, so as to change his life? Compare him with another who sits in a holy presence and goes away after some time with his outlook on life totally changed. Which is the better to preach loudly without effort, or to sit silently sending out inner force? Which is the better to preach loudly without effort, or to sit silently sending out inner force? That was Jiyama. Sit silently sending out inner force. Again, how does a speech arise? There is abstract knowledge, whence arises the ego, which in turn gives rise to thought, and thought to the spoken word. So the word is the great grandson of the original source. If the word can produce effect, Judge for yourself how much powerful must be the preaching through silence. But people do not understand this their truth. The truth of their everyday, ever-present eternal experience. But they do not like ever to hear of this truth, whereas they are eager to know what lies beyond, without heaven, hell, reincarnation, etc. Seeker's silence is the loudest form of the prayer, and Guru's silence is the loudest form of the Upadesh. Seeker's silence is the loudest form of the prayer, and Guru's silence is the loudest form of Upadesh. It is also grace in the highest form. All other dikshas, initiations, that is a speech, chakshu, etc., are derived from silence. They are therefore secondary, and more. Silence is the primary form. If the Guru is silent and seeker's mind gets Guru is silent, the seeker's mind gets purified by itself. If the Guru is silent, the seeker's mind gets purified by itself. Meditation without mental activity is silence. Meditation without mental activity is silence. Subjugation of mind is meditation. Deep meditation is eternal speech. On is the utmost eloquence. On is the utmost eloquence. Peace is utmost activity. How? Because the person remains in his essential nature, and so he permeates all the recesses of the self. This he can call up any power into play, wherever, whenever it is necessary. The best is the heart to heart speech, and to heart hearing. This is the best of this. And Guru and Jiyama, that's what she did. Heart to heart hearing and heart to heart of this. Now, we are in our presence and Guru Maharaj's presence. We will do the Upasana as he told us to do. He taught us. Please sit in a relaxed posture, a posture in which you can stay without moving for say about 25-30 minutes. Close your eyes lightly and envision that the divine light of God, Guru, is coming in front of you, penetrating your heart area. Your heart is getting illuminated and you're slowly getting immersed in that light.
Chita
बस कीजिए।
राम मेरा वनहार परम गुरु राम मेरा वनहार परम अति उदार मंजूर मंगलमय विमत फल दातार परम राम मेरा राम मेरा वनहार परम गुरु जयति जयति जय देवा दयानिधि वेद उतारो पार परम गुरु राम मेरा वनहार परम गुरु त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
तो प्रदीप जी आप कुछ कहिए और प्रसाद लगाइए।
तो गुरु महाराज के सभी प्रेमियों को सादर प्रणाम। We are listening to silent preaching. We are very fortunate that we have received that silent preaching ourselves. I would, there was a recent quote. It's probably a repeat, which from Maulana Room. He said that silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation. And the other thing is about the bhajan that Uncle Ji heard in the beginning. That was reminding me of how Kabir Das Ji is supposed to be ज्ञान मार्गी, but one of उनका एक भजन है, वो आपने सुना होगा, that line was coming to me. It's a very short bhajan. हर जननी में बालिक तेरा, काहे न अवगुण बख्शो मेरा, तुत अपराध करे दिन केते, जननी के ही रहे न करग है केस गरे जो घाता, तऊ न हेतु तारे मां, कहे कबीर एक बुद्धि विचारी, बालक दुखी दुखी महता है. So we have seen that motherly love and seen that silence preaching in action. So I didn't mean to say that this is a personal anecdote, but I will share because just recounting that takes me back to those wonderful times, and it does have a few lessons that we can all relate to. If my memory serves, it's probably 1989 or 90. I had gone to, I was working in Pune, and then I was visiting during the break. And one thing that I have heard, I didn't see that. All those rest of those scenes are fresh in my memory even now. But I had heard about this, that when Tundla's Satsang Bhavan was inaugurated, Param Pujya Bade Bhaiya has taken Jiyama's Charanamrit and poured that into that well that was in the compound. That was, and now they have covered it, and there's a hand pump. I don't know what it is right now. I haven't been into Tundla for a very long time. But that time there was a well, and I had heard this story that Charanamrit was poured into that well. And those were different kind of days. You just in youth that you have, there was just kind of brainwave that I have to go and drink the water from that well. So I was visiting for a primary personal reason Eta. On the way back, I took a bus from Eta to Tundla. And then I went to that drink that water, and somebody informed me that somebody there said that वो तो यहाँ पे है नहीं, you have to go to कोठी बोलते थे उसको. So I went to मिलने के लिए उनसे. I went to that कोठी, and there was another surprise in store. There was a wedding there, and many respected Buzurgs of Satsang were present there, including Chaudhary Sahib. So there was some conversation going on, and I was sitting there. Something kind of ticked me off. So the point is that even in that great company, sometimes somebody who is someone like me can get ticked off. So I decided to leave the place. But before leaving, I don't know if it had changed, but in those days there were two rooms. On one side, Jiyama used to stay during Bhandara, and the other room was used. So I went to that Panditji Maharaj's room to just, as we generally do, just say pranam or whatever. So as I was getting out of that room, I saw Pujya Bhai Sahib and Pujya Bahuji in Kundla. It was his son's wedding actually. So he just asked me that you are leaving. जा रहे हो? मैंने कहा, so I said I couldn't say. I just grinned. He said दावत खा के चले जाना. But I was so ticked off somehow. I don't know what the conversation was, that I decided to leave nonetheless. Now I naturally, on one hand, you know, I wanted to get out of that place. On the other hand, I was also keenly aware that I am disobeying him. So as I was walking out, I was always looking back that if somebody's seeing me, somebody will come after me like a thief. Once I got to the main road, I became normal and continued. Took the bus to Aligarh. Now it was too late to go to my village, so I stayed back with an old friend. Now I won't go into the details of that really I had to put up with some insults and indignations at that place. And those were different days, so I had just my whatever clothes I was wearing, I just washed them there. And in the morning, rather than going back to my village, I was in such a mental state, such agony, that I couldn't think of anything else. I took the early morning bus to Mathura. And lo and behold, he was sitting right there. Now naturally the place had changed, but in those days he would sit outside on a chair and a table in front of him. He didn't utter a word, just said that, nothing. I wanted to say so many things. I wanted to narrate the whole thing and how I am feeling. The only thing he said was, अंदर जाके नाश्ता कर लो और हमारे संग स्टेशन तक चलो. These were the exact words. Go have breakfast and come with me. Mummy, Babuji and Mummiji both were planning to go to Delhi. So somebody dropped us to the train station. Now, at the train station, you cannot go all the way to the platform. There are some barriers. And in those days, as far as I remember, he always carried that bedding with him. Old, he used to say. So once the person dropped us, we have to walk to the platform, and I started picking up his bedding. So he said, "Acha nahi lagta, kuli kar lo." So he had a coolie, went to the platform. We sat for probably 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever time it took for train to come. Train left, they went to Delhi. And boy, my state was completely transformed. I was feeling like on a seventh heaven. Not a single word related to what my state was. And so the two lessons, apart from my own mistakes, that I drew from that became very clear to me. They were demonstrated to me first. Seva karo aur seva lene se bacho. He didn't even let me. I was nobody, but he didn't let me pick his bedding. And second, which I had read somewhere, कि जब मन के वे चैन न लेने दें तो दौड़ कर माँ की शरण जाओ. So whatever the physical form, the care and love was motherly. Just I can still see all those things playing in my mind, and just it is such a source of joy. Once I am on the borrowed words. So one of Satsangi Buzurg has wrote this about Jiyama. या इलाही सब में उल्फत से हो रोशन दिल दिमाग माँ जिया इसके मुजस्सिम पुरजिया के वास्ते. So her light, her love would continue to illuminate our heart. With that prayer, let's offer this Naivedya that we have as token of our faith and respect. You know, one thing he had said, "Kabhi akele mat rehna." So let's just hope that they continue to be with us all the time through ups and downs of life. That presence we can feel all the time. With that prayer, let's meditate for another minute. Uncle ji,
You know, the silent speech, the silence, preaching in silence. Excuse me. It began with Dakshinamurti. So let me just, and as it goes, Brahmaji had 4 sons, Sanat Kumar, and they were getting Brahma Vidya from him. So Brahmaji, after a while, thought that maybe I should give this creation work to these four of my children. Naraji got Naraji knew about some other got to know about it. So he went to them and said that, brothers, Brahmaji is about to give you the work of creation. They didn't want it because they already had Brahma Vidya, so they left Brahmaji's house, Brahma. So they went to Vaikuntha to know if there's anything else to be learned. So he looks at Vaikuntha with all the grandeur and, Smiji and all the jewels and whatever not. He said, he's not going to teach me anything. He himself is a householder. Then those 4 went towards Shivji. Shivji knew. So Shivji tells Parvati ji, they're coming to learn from me, but we don't have as much grandeur as Vishnu Bhagwan, but they still have a house. So Shivji left his house and sat on Mansarovar, on the bank of Mansarovar, facing south. Facing south, now, all the Karmkandi knows that facing south is not a good sign. But he sat there and he just sat there and facing south. So those 4 came over there. And then they sat in front of him. Shivaji as Dakshinamurti did not say a word. None. That's how, and they were all, those Sanat Kumar, they were all filled. They all finished the Brahma Vidya. That's how it became. That's how. And Jiyama is in that tradition. Jiyama is in the tradition of Dakshinamurti. Just wanted all of us to be aware that where did this silence prayer, silence preaching came from. Before we close it, Rupamji is here, so I'd like to request you to have bhajan, please.
नमस्ते अंकल जी, आज विवेक भी है हमारे साथ यहाँ पर.
Good.
भज मन राम चरण सुखदाई. भज मन राम चरण सुखदाई. राम चरण सुखदाई. भज मन राम चरण सुखदाई. राम चरण सुखदाई. जे चरणन से निकसी सुरसरी. शंकर जटा समाई. जिह चरणन से निकसी सुरसरी. शंकर जटा समाई. जटा शंकरी नाम पाया. जटा शंकरी नाम पाया. त्रिभुवन तारनाई. भज मन भज मन राम चरण सुखदाई. जिन चरणन की चरण पादुका. भरत रहियो लवलाई. जिन चरणन की चरण पादुका. भरत रहियो लवलाई. सोई चरण केवट धोइली. सोई चरण केवट धोइली. तब हरि नाम चलाई. भज मन भज मन राम चरण सुखदाई. सोई चरण संतन जन सेवत. सदा रहत सुखदाई. सोई चरण संतन जन सेवत. सदा रहत सुखदाई. सोई चरण गौतम ऋषि नारी. सोई चरण गौतम ऋषि नारी. परसि परम पद पाई. भज मन भज मन राम चरण सुखदाय। कपि सुग्रीव बंधो भय व्याकुल तिन जय छत्र धराई। कपि सुग्रीव बंधो भय व्याकुल तिन जय छत्र धराई। रिपुकोनुज विभीषण निशाचर। रिपुकोनुज विभीषण निशाचर। परसत लंका पाई। भज मन भज मन भज मन राम चरण सुखदाय। शिव सनकादिक अरु ब्रह्मादिक शेष सहस सुख गाई। शिव सनकादिक अरु ब्रह्मादिक शेष सहस सुख गाई। तुलसीदास मारुत सुत के प्रभु। तुलसीदास मारुत सुत के प्रभु। निज मुख कर बड़ाई। भज मन भज मन भज मन राम चरण सुखदाय। राम चरण सुखदाई। भज मन राम चरण सुखदाई। राम चरण सुखदाई। सभी को प्रणाम।
नमस्ते रूपम जी।
हाँ, नमस्ते प्रदीप भैया।
नमस्ते अंकल। नमस्ते भैया।
नमस्ते
समूह को नमस्कार। समूह को
सबको
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
प्रणाम अंकल। प्रणाम प्रदीप जी। सभी को प्रणाम।
प्रणाम।
सबको नमस्कार।
नमस्कार जी। नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
सभी को नमस्कार।
समूह को नमस्कार फिर से।
फिर से सबको नमस्कार।
नमस्ते सभी को नमस्कार।
अंकल नमस्कार। सभी को नमस्कार।
नमस्ते जी। नमस्ते।
प्रणाम अंकल। सभी को प्रणाम।
प्रणाम प्रणाम। So, Manu, let me tell you what's happening. I have a microphone, but it seems like sometimes it doesn't work.
जी अंकल जी।
So let me just see how much distance it can cover, okay?
हाँ जी। तो एक्चुअली जहाँ पहले सेशन के स्टार्टिंग में आंटी जी बैठी थी वहां से आवाज काफी लो आ रही थी। लाइक अभी जो आपका वॉल्यूम है उसका लगभग हाफ या 1/3 तक आ रहा था वॉल्यूम। तो
मुझे वो करके देखने दे कि क्या उससे कोई फर्क पड़ता है ना पड़ता है।
जी जी।
No.
Okay, yes. Both. Haven't heard in a long while. How you doing? क्या जी छुट्टी हो गया?
जी बस बैठा ही यहाँ मस्ती कर रहे हैं। Adu, come here.
बुलाता नहीं ना मैं क्या करूं?
जी अंकल जी।
मैंने कहा दादू कहता है लेकिन बुलाता नहीं है।
जी अब थोड़ा थोड़ा बोलना शुरू कर रहे हैं अभी। अदरवाइज तो मोस्टली साइन लैंग्वेज में ही चला रहा था अभी तक टाइम। तो ये इक्विपमेंट क्या है अंकल जी?
अच्छा अभी आवाज आ रही है?
जी जी आ रही है आवाज। आवाज आ रही थी अंकल जी।
कि कहता है कि अभी जो
जी आपका आउट
तुम्हारी आवाज हमें नहीं आ रही है।
ओ तो मे बी इसमें अगर स्पीकर है तो उसका वॉल्यूम बढ़ाना पड़ेगा शायद।
ओके ना वो तुम्हारी आवाज आ रही है।
हाँ जी जी
पहले ओके